Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Ross. I am your host and dungeon master for tonight's episode of Bar20, a show where myself and some of my nerdy friends come together over a virtual tabletop to play Dungeons and Dragons. Now, before I get started too much, I just want to say the huge thank you to everyone who's followed over the last couple months we've been going. I can't put into words how much I appreciate the follow, the lurk, the views. Thank you so much. As we go on, we're still looking forward to that 100 follower goal, and we'll be doing the giveaway for the signed copy of the 5th edition Player's Handbook Guide. So if you enjoy what we put out here with our content, please make sure you share it with your friends and anybody that may have interest in Dungeons & Dragons. But for now, we will jump into it. Hello, lovely table of mine.
What's up?
Not
Hello.
a lot. Hope all of you had a fantastic week last week.
We survived.
We did survive. That's very true.
Some of us by the skin of our teeth, but
Very true. The last couple episodes have been interesting for the party as you have come to the capital, chasing down the scoundrel that decided it would be best to enact his revenge against Gathalia to her parents. You followed his trail to the capital, and then through a series of investigation throughout the city and learning parts of it and kind of exploring a bit of the culture and dynamic of it, you've discovered so far two kind of underbelly sources. I believe they would be the Underguard and the Black Vines.
Correct.
Through some interesting conversations with the Black Vines representative and the Underguard, you were tasked with a job from the Underguard. Unhappy with the way that went, the party sought to instead clear the sewers that the Underguard used constantly for their smuggling efforts. Were successful against large 8-legged creatures, one of you almost perishing from their clutches. But everything worked out in the end, able to save the life of a guard that was down there, and it turns out his folks were running a well-established tavern somewhere on the border of the Horizon Ward and the Sky Ward. So I believe we left off with all of you
Going to our rooms.
going to your rooms for the night. That's right. So after a long fought day and given some new information to where Shady had told you that she would still uphold her end of the deal, she said she still needed a few more days to nail down this Taine you were looking for, as he was not a part of her particular guild. But a promise is a promise for a job well done, and she would get back to you in about 3 to 4 days. So as you all bed down for the night, knowing full well you have a couple of days to yourselves in this capital city, any last lingering thoughts or things you want to accomplish before you go to your rooms?
Not so much before we go to our rooms, but more of looking over my, maybe my clothing.
Okay.
Realizing very much so that I am not cut from the same cloth that our new neighbors are, and kind of being mindful of that and looking to see if I have anything suitable or if I'm going to have to go and buy new clothing so that I don't embarrass anybody.
Okay.
And I'm kind of leaning towards going to have to buy new clothes.
Okay. And the party decided to go with 2 rooms, correct?
Yes.
2 rooms with 2 beds each.
Yep.
Okay. I'll describe these rooms together because they are similar. They're mostly mirrored as each of you, you go upstairs to the 3rd floor, I believe it was, for their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go up these main steps and you make that left to kind of hug the outside of the building, or what would be like the outside wall, it cuts partially through. Like, you can't actually see most of the 3rd floor. It's not like a huge open expanse. The 1st and 2nd floor are open, but once it gets to the 3rd, there is kind of like a fake ceiling, which is the floor for the third floor.
Huh.
So as you move down the hallway a bit, you both go into your rooms, and they are, I wouldn't say they're like super poshy, but they're definitely upscale, as this tavern and inn borders around the area of the Sky Ward and Horizon Ward. The Sky Ward you have mostly figured out by now, that's where the true wealth and nobility of the capital is, and the Horizon Ward is more like the upscale merchants and those of trade who no longer have to perform that trade because they were so successful they made a business out of it. But you enter your rooms, you do notice on each end there's a pair of doors that lead into its own smaller bedroom, and then the main room in the middle has like a table. It's got a nice window that's decorated with a couple of books, a candle. There's a fireplace in each of these. It's a nice room.
Kind of like a common room with 2 other offshoots.
Yes.
Cool.
Well,
as Kelvin unfortunately cannot be with us tonight, I will be kind of piloting him. I have his list of to-dos.
Well, I guess I imagine Kelvin's going to be able to go and just pass out.
Yeah, he heads in, kind of checks the room out. Nice place. I'm going to go sleep.
Okay.
And then he will take to his room.
Okay. I know we discussed off stream that we were going to have a party fund. Did we figure out who that's going to be?
Yes. It was voted that Snow would hold the funds.
Me?
You.
Okay. I'm gonna have to track this separately then. I can do that. Let me write this down real quick. You two can keep going.
I guess I'm gonna unpack, and not like a ton of stuff, but like kind of lay clothes out a little bit.
Okay.
Stash stuff I know I'm not gonna need day to day. I don't need a bedroll. I don't need all of my adventuring. All the stuff you need outdoors.
Right. Your
I don't need that anymore.
Camping supplies.
Yes.
Okay.
All of that stuff can be packed away and kind of kept under the bed. Everything else I'm going to kind of, I guess, even though I don't use them very often, make sure my short swords are in good order. Check over my whip, make sure no tears, no fraying, or anything like that. Make sure all the pieces of the hand crossbow are oiled and cleaned and etc.
General maintenance.
And then after that, just kind of, and then read through my journal.
Okay.
See if any more of it kind of makes sense.
I will say at this time you are able to read through your current class options for your Radiant Arts, along with the details of your Tenant of the Vine.
Excellent.
Cathalia?
She'll give Kelvin a hug goodnight and all that because she's still kind of paranoid.
Yeah. He gives you hugs back.
Yay. She just kind of goes and relaxes.
Being taller than you, I imagine you probably ruffle your hair with this giant hand.
Oh yeah, because that's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
She's probably just gonna go to bed at a decent time for once, because
okay, for once
it's been a rough couple weeks, and she doesn't really have books with her to read or any armor to truly clean or anything like that. So
okay,
She might stay up with Snow for a few, but
Okay.
Snow is there with you. Well, considering we got a prestidigibath from Kelvin before we headed over there.
Prestidigious shower.
Yeah, exactly. I need him to change that name in his spell list so that it
So
says that.
Prestidigious shower.
Yeah, exactly. Since she's clean, she doesn't have to worry about cleaning herself, which is quite a relief to her. She doesn't want to have to get spider webs and gore out of her fur, because that would be a process. But she'll probably make her, little nest in the bed and just lay down.
Okay.
And she probably would try to sleep, but she's probably not going to sleep very well, if at all.
Okay. So as sleep eventually does find all of you, Cathalia, as you're just kind of laying there in bed, kind of still mentally unpacking the things that have happened to you and your family over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Give me a wisdom check.
Is that the saving throw or the actual thing on the side?
Just the a d20 with your wisdom modifier.
You should just be able to click on the wisdom
Yes.
on that,
I
and it'll
believe
do
on
it for
the
you.
Left side of the character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
20. Very nice.
Oh, hey.
Good.
Very nice. As you're laying there and kind of, you're taking your armor off, getting ready for bed, you're kind of keeping things immaculately neat to kind of help yourself process the moment and the weeks that have passed. There's just this kind of deeper inner sense that I wouldn't say washes over you, but it begins to trickle in, and for the first time in about 5 or 6 days, you just feel yourself actually taking a good breath, and in your mind you can just hear like that subconscious voice of yours, a few more days, a few more days, echoing the words that you heard from Shady and her promise to the party. For the job completed, she would follow through. But eventually all of you do find sleep. Maybe a bit restless for some, but the morning comes, and the next few days, during this bit of a downtime the party finds itself with, all of you are woken to a knock at your door.
Are there any kind of peepholes or windows or anything where I can kind of see into the room or see out of the room before?
No, it is
I
a
open the door?
solid door.
Okay. As I get up to answer the door, I will draw a dagger and kind of like hold it, blade down, like along my forearm. Kind of hold that arm behind my back.
Okay.
And then kind of crack the door a little bit and kind of peek out before I open it fully.
In front of you see the same well-dressed gentleman that had greeted you at the door yesterday. This would be Roland. Good morning.
Morning.
Just to inform you, breakfast will be ready shortly.
Thank you.
Then
I appreciate
you see
it.
him. Absolutely. Then he turns around. You see him walk to another room. Same thing.
All right.
Would I be able to hear Roland talking to Tam down the hall little ways? Little ways?
Are you, once you hear I'd say you would pick up on a knock, but do you listen for further conversation, or do you just kind of...
Yeah.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Don't fail me now. Ugh. That did not go through to Roll20 because I do not have Beyond 20 yet. That's a 15.
15? Yeah, I would
Yes.
say you can kind of make out most of what it is. Roland's not like trying to hide his voice or anything, so he just speaks at a pretty good tone, even for in the morning.
I imagine if they're solid doors, it's not hard to, you don't have to worry about your voice carrying through if everything's not like paper thin.
Yeah. But eventually, probably about a few seconds later, you do hear a knock at your door. Snow and Cathalia.
I'll go and answer it.
Okay. You open the door, and there stands before you the familiar form of Roland, well-dressed, well-groomed, just upright, proper, semi-smile professionally. Yes. Good morning, lady. Breakfast will be ready shortly.
He'll nod her head, give him a thanks, close the door.
And he will move on his way.
Breakfast actually sounds really good. Especially
Yeah, it does.
especially after the night we had.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, we'll head down there together, yeah?
Yep.
All right.
Wash my face and...
Yeah, I'm getting ready, and I am looking for the least wrinkled, least outdoor woodsy clothing I have.
That would be your tunic and trousers. 'Cause
There we
you
go.
You awoke in... Actually, I would say you probably... you got, like, what would be considered out of style nice, but decent looking.
I'm going to go with that.
All right, you...
I guess I'm going to open the door first. I don't have everything. Like, I don't have my short swords, but I definitely have my whip and a dagger. Dagger's tucked into my boot, with another dagger opposite side of my whip on my hip.
Okay.
So,
you head down with
not-
as such.
yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
head down like that. Belted, belt on and all that fun stuff, yeah.
All right.
Dressed, but not like...
Kelvin comes down in just his simple usual attire. Everybody you meet downstairs, you are shown to a table that will seat all of you. And immediately, there's not even an order taken. They just start bringing out cups of hot liquid, presumably coffee or tea of some kind. And then they also begin to... eventually, after that's served, one female does come around. Again, just well-dressed. Good morning. Is there any preference for breakfast or just something standard? Kelvin will probably speak up a lot. She looks
What
at him.
would be
Okay. We can do that.
what would be standard, if I may ask?
Standard is platter we mix together here from smoked meats, some eggs, a couple of steamed vegetables, and fresh breads.
I'll take just the meats if that's all right.
Absolutely. She turns to Cathalia. You?
Same.
Okay. And then finally to Tam. And you, sir?
I'll take a little bit of everything, thanks.
Absolutely. And she just kind of moves off. About 30, 40 minutes go by before a large gathering of food is brought out. Most of it being set in front of Kelvin.
Of course.
And then smoked meat. Snow, you're presented with a platter of like smoked meats, dried meats, some hot, some room temperature.
Oh. Yeah.
Cathalia and Tam with your properly requested things. Breakfast is had. Plates are cleaned up by the staff.
Yes.
And then you do see double check this real quick. Let's say with your perceptions, that would be Snow and Cathalia. You do notice, standing by the front door, who was not present yesterday, you notice what looks to be a half-orc who is dressed in a well-looking, kind of like a studded leather with a, looks to be some kind of bludgeoning device, either a mace or a hammer, kind of affixed to his side. And his clothing itself is matching of the area, his upright stature, and he's looking around, scanning the room. Looks right over you guys, just keeps looking. Presumably.
Was it because we came in so late last night that we didn't see him, or was it just we just didn't notice him at all?
I would say you feel like he's probably more like a day guard,
Okay.
seeing as they don't stay open too late. Because when you did come in, you did notice they were kind of shutting things down
Right.
to be only just their tavern and overnight stay function.
Cool.
What?
Well, Snow is definitely going to focus on eating.
Okay. Unless there's anything you want to do during breakfast, we can just move on to what plans some of you had for the next 3 to 4 days until you are contacted once again.
I'm going to look at the girls and ask, is there anything you wanted to do? Because I had a handful of things I wanted to check out while we were here.
What did you have in mind?
Some new clothes. This seems to be a more noble area, a more well-to-do, affluent area, and anytime you're anywhere, it's best to blend in. It might help us if we dress the part. Help us move a little easier. Also might help anybody that wouldn't want us to be here. Kind of make it harder to distinguish us from everybody else.
How do you fit in and not draw attention? She has a very unique problem, if you didn't notice.
I do. Well, part of it is confidence. You walk like you belong. Another part of it is whether you're hooded or not, cloaked or not. If you move with purpose rather than looking lost or aimless, that tends to set off red flags in people's perceptions. Walk like you have a purpose, walk where you're going with somewhat of a sense of urgency, and look like you belong there. Walk upright like you belong there. When you walk slumped over or look like you might be in trouble for being there, it's going to stand out. And I guess I'm just going to give her pointers on blending in.
Okay.
We'll go with Tim if that's something that he wants to do, and he can, pick out clothes for her, I guess, because she has no idea what city folk are like. So.
It's been a few centuries since I've really been in cities myself, but I'll give it a shot, and we can definitely ask for help when we get there.
Okay. So, all of you are going to head where first? Or who wants to be the first to handle their downtime activities? You can solve as a group. I'm not going to say you have to single out, but if some of you have goals that align for these next 3 or 4 days, you're more than welcome to stay together. But if you do have something you want to say, hey, I'm going to break away from the party, just let me know and we'll continue us forward.
I vote we go to Reginald's threads. First things first, get the clothes to look the part. Everything else can get handled otherwise.
Down for that.
Kelvin with half of mouth of food. Yeah, that's probably a really good idea.
You are absolutely right, brother.
I will
He's gonna hate you when he sees this pod.
What's he gonna do? Not play at my table? So
How
everyone,
dare you accurately portray him?
right? So recalling the directions given to you, Tamriel,
Yes.
how do you get to Reginald's threads?
I am going to recall them by...
Would you like to make a history check?
I sure would. I was looking for the button.
There you go.
That's a 17 on history.
Easy enough. It was just yesterday, so you and
Of
the entire
course.
party, I'm guessing?
Sounds
Yes.
like a plan.
Okay. You and the entire party, once everything's given up, you stand and you begin to approach towards the door, where you are stopped by Roland. Excuse me, just one moment before you head out.
Yes, Master Roland?
Just the manner of the account name. So I'm just going to call you Tamriel and Cathalia and Drifting Snow and Kelvin? Or was there something else you wanted to put here?
I know we had something last week, and now I can't remember what it was.
The wild cards.
That's right.
The wild cards.
Yes.
Unique. You see he takes his quill pen and walks over to his podium up by the front door and pens it in. All right. Wild cards. And you see he kind of looks around for a minute, trying to see if anybody's too close by. And his hand kind of gently brushes to usher the half-orc to give him a moment. And Roland approaches you all very closely. I just wanted to say thank you. The young master, for some reason, seems it worthy to serve within the Queen's Shield. Personally, I can see the years adding up to the lady of the tavern. But they are both proud of their son. I'm just thankful of an adventuring group was able to save him. Hopefully he'll be more mindful.
There's quite a bit of honor in serving.
And you see for a moment there's like a break in his usual stoic professionalism before he finishes speaking, kind of writes himself back up. Well, all of you have a nice day.
Same to you, thank you.
And with that, all of you head out to the streets. It is a bright, cloudless, lovely day outside. Not a ton of foot traffic around, but a decent amount, kind of walking here and there. And looking around at those around and yourselves, you realize we may not look like we belong that well. You're not, urchins. You're not desolately poor, but you are rough and tumble adventurers that had just come off a long road. So,
Definitely
through
stand out.
Tamriel's keen memory, you head down the street, make a few turns before you come to a well-sized building, nothing huge or elaborate. And in front of it, you do see a kind of a wooden sign hanging with Roland's threads. Heading inside, you see about you a fantastic array of cloths, colors, even a section for various needles to do your own work. The counter in the center is actually a work counter. There's no like transaction counter. This probably serves as it. As you see a human male, kind of probably early to mid 50s, predominantly black hair with a strong sense of a salt and pepper to it. He's got on these one pair of specs, like on the proper top bridge of his nose, and then a second pair of specs kind of there at the tip of the nose. And he's leaning over the table and carefully threading what looks to be on this kind of like a mannequin apparatus, this amazing looking tunic. It is like a royal blue with some gold trim around it. It has like a deep V collar with the trim as well. And he's just slowly stitching, not slowly, but smoothly stitching. And as he hears a ding, 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 ding. Good morning. Just 1 minute, please.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of finishes it, so he bites it off with his teeth. And he takes off both pairs of glasses to look all of you over. Oh, my. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Reginald, purveyor of this fine establishment. How can I help you all today?
Well, Reginald, we are going to be staying in the area for a little while, and we would like to peruse some of your fine works and see if we can't find something that fits all of us and helps us fit in and maybe not embarrass our gracious hosts.
You see his head kind of turns questionably at gracious hosts.
The Turin family.
Oh my. You will be staying at the Gracious Pint.
Correct.
Well, that certainly is quite the place. Well, certainly. Are there any particular attires or styles you would like to look forward to? I have some works hanging about, but if you don't see something that quite matches what you want, I can measure you out or tailor something to fit you quickly. Do you need something today? Do you need it within the week?
Today would be best, but by this evening would be perfect. We have dinner with the Turin family this evening to celebrate
Bit of a
Martin's
rushed order then.
Nathan's home. No, not. Hold on.
No, you had it right, Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan's homecoming.
And he,
And
again, his head kind of turns a little bit, and then you see the dots connect. He goes, I think I heard about you over drinks last night. Are you the ones that found him in that sewer?
yes.
Awful place.
Less than stellar and certainly not worth ruining your fine clothing, but we find
No.
ourselves above ground again.
Well, it's glad you're above the ground and safe, all of you. Well then, if I may suggest, then you find something that is I've already tailored, and I can just make minor adjustments to them to fit your forms.
Absolutely. My friend Snow here, though, prefers
Snow is
to be
looking
covered
around the
up.
entire shop, just like admiring everything. She's never seen anything of this quality before, and she's just like, what the fuck is this? How can anybody afford this?
And as you're looking around, there are... He said he didn't have a lot, but there are quite a solid handful of everything from like dresses to nice trousers, looser fit cuts. Seems just about anything someone would want is here. Most of it's, you can, I would say with your passive perception, you look long enough, you can see some of it's a little cookie cutter, but there is flair and style to be just enough to where it doesn't look like it's just something he just repeats a pattern over and over and over and over again.
Very nice. I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine. But my friend Snow is a little bit shy and would like to stay as covered as possible, please.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hood?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get back to this. Should you begin to find things you want to have altered, or if you need something made from scratch, just let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Reginald.
Picks up his 2 pairs of glasses and gets back to the finer thread work on one of these sleeves.
And I'm sorry if I missed it. What is Reginald?
He is a human male.
Okay. Gotcha. Didn't know what we were working with here. Thank you. All right, I guess I'm going to peruse, look for something with earth tones,
Okay.
but in kind of a more modern cut.
Okay. Cathalia?
She kind of wants to feel a little girly, so
Okay.
but not too girly.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she loves green, so like different shades of green.
Okay. And Snow.
Snow is very much lost, so she is looking at everything, but she would definitely like to find something that would be probably on the darker side, so like either a dark blue or dark green or even, a brown if it's a nice enough color.
Okay.
Just probably a tunic for her.
All right. Let's say Cathalia. Are we looking for more a dress or something that was still like a top with trousers?
Well, these are nicer clothes, so she's not gonna go like adventuring in them. So probably a dress.
Okay. Taking a few minutes to look around, you come across a couple of very nice dresses that seem similar to a length you would need. One of them being kind of a deeper green, and upon closer inspection, you do see it has threaded along the slit. On the right-hand side, each side has these like green vines that have been embroidered in.
Ooh.
The top is just kind of a collar show, and then the other two seem to be a little more plain, not a lot of hefty embroidery. One kind of a royal deep blue, and the other one this stunning velvet red. While you think about that choice, Tam, what you do come across is a couple of nicer trousers, seem to be like they would work, and then you do find a bit of a kind of this, it's like mossy green tunic that has the similar embroidery, like a gold trim on the V-neck of it, and that also around the sleeves. And the sleeves are just slightly longer than normal, but they say it will probably fall almost to your elbow, you feel like.
Okay. Yeah. I will definitely go with that, and with the green tunic, and probably like a, I don't know, chocolate brown trouser to go with that.
I say as you're
And
looking
then,
around, you can find in ways of trousers, he has kind of a nicer pair of what looks to be like a darker black, and then also a two shades of brown, light and dark.
I'll go with the darker brown.
Okay, so you bring those up to the work table.
Yep.
All right,
And then
Snow.
shoes.
While you're working on that, Snow, what you find that seems to be, you're most looking for like a top.
Yeah, probably. Mainly
Okay.
focused on a top, but also some trouser pants too, or tunic altogether if she can find one.
Okay, yeah, easy enough. He's got a variety of color when it comes to kind of slimmer tunics that seem to be fitting for the female form, along with what you do find is one pair of what seems to be kind of like a deep brown pair of like baggy trousers, and upon inspecting them, they would look baggy on a regular human, but they almost seem like they may have been tailored for a tabaxi.
Ooh, okay. She would probably grab those if she knew they would fit, which,
Yeah.
is easy enough. And she would probably go with... She's silver and black, so probably a dark blue tunic shirt if she can find one.
Yeah, easy enough. He's got a very nice, like, royal blue, like a deep hue.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
That works.
All right. And Cathalia, what have you decided on? As you see, Kelvin is grabbing what looks to be like a white-on-white, gold-embroidered, just
Oh, God.
flashy tunic and pair of trousers.
She kind of narrowed her down between the green and the blue, and I think she's gonna go with the blue.
Okay. So all of you walk up to the working counter after probably about 30-40 minutes of browsing, looking, kind of seeing what's going to fit, and he'll take his double glasses off again. So looks like you've found what you wanted. Let me go ahead and he'll just kind of point to Tam. Come with me. And he leads you to the back of the shop where there's like a wall that divides the front of the shop. It's an open door. It's like just enough of a wall to block a dressing area.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, go ahead and put those on, and then I'll get to measuring, looking, and pinning.
Sounds good.
About 2 or 3 minutes of that go by before he's got a couple pins in it, where he's kind of folded under to fit your frame. Looked at the sleeves, looked at the trousers. Okay, let's leave it over there in a neat pile, and I'll get right on it. And he goes back out to grab Snow.
I will fold everything up and put it away.
Once you're done, he leads Snow and Cathalia through the same process. And is there anything you want to have altered about your clothing design as far as embroidery or designs before we move on?
He would add, actually. Because she wants to stay covered as much as possible, she would probably try to find a finer cloak that would still have a hood that would be able to cover her ears if she needed it.
Okay. And he kind of... Not much in the way of cloaks with hoods, but what you do find is this very nice, fine, long piece of like a silk scarf.
Okay.
That could potentially be used.
Works
kind of
for
like
me.
One side has that usual like sheen black to it, and on the other side, it is just dull thread.
Mm-hmm.
But all of you are measured. He's got his tailored notes. He has the stack over there. All right. Seeing all this together, you see he goes reach under his counter and pulls out a ledger and plops it down. I would say for clothing themselves, probably, just a total cost for individual.
Total cost, please.
Absolutely. Say for the clothing alone, a golden, 3 gold and 5 silver, and then for the tailoring, to be done for dinner tonight, 5 gold. So 5, 9,
8 gold, 5 silver.
Yeah.
I'll throw 10 gold on the table.
Are you sure?
Yep.
He almost seems taken aback. Okay. And you
I know quality when I see it.
You see he immediately pushed the mannequin he was working on aside and pull a new one over. He just... Very well. Thank you. Names for the orders.
My name is Tamriel. That is Kelvin, Snow, and Cathalia. As I point to each of us.
You see, like, rips a piece of parchment off, writes your name, sticks on top of the stack. He does that for every stack. All right. Well, come back early evening. They'll be done.
Thank you kindly, Master Reginald.
Of course. And you see he kind of grabs his keys to the establishment, and he will actually walk with you to the door.
Cool.
All of you head outside, and he heads out with you, locks the door, looks at the group. I'm going to go get my wife. I'll be back.
All right.
He begins to head down the street.
Need an extra pair of hands for that one.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. Where to next? Actually, it would be at this point, Kelvin would be like, I do have something to take care of. Is there anything else y'all want to do in this area?
I don't have anything, no.
Okay. I'll be back in a few hours.
All right.
And he begins to head towards what seems to be the direction of the Spiraling Square.
I wonder what he's
Okay.
up to.
And I'll get to all his stuff last.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably about late morning at this point. Spent about an hour to an hour and a half in there through all the perusing, selecting, him getting his measurements required. What next?
I'd say at this point, I'm gonna probably go off on my own for a minute, for a little while. I will see you all here later, or see you two later. Pointing to the girls. Look. Yeah, never mind. And I kind of walk off and do my best to kind of blend in with other people. And I'm gonna kind of make my way for, I guess, the center of the Horizon Ward.
Okay.
Kind of explore the ward a little bit, see what there is to see, and keep an eye out for specific routes of guards and kind of what they're wearing, how they're equipped and outfitted, that kind of thing. If they're Queen's Shield or if they seem to be a little bit higher caliber, privatized kind of deal. You know, gated communities always have better security. And just kind of keep an eye, kind of watch people and just kind of look around.
Okay. Snow? Cathalia?
Just kind of look at Snow. What do you want to do?
Well, you're welcome to come with me if you'd like, but I was kind of headed in the same direction. I was actually gonna go visit old Emmathale and check in on Erin, because we really have kind of left him, and I don't feel comfortable with that.
We should see him.
I figure he might enjoy getting a visit from us once again, you know?
Yeah. Let's go see him.
Okay.
There's stuff I want to do, but I can do that later. He comes first.
All right.
I mean, he is going to come with us when we start the Wild Card Mobile Orphanage, so...
Right.
So I will say, for Cathalia and Snow, you make it to old Emmathale's easily enough. Once you step inside, because the door is answered by that same kind of teenage boy. He gestures you inside. And then just behind the building itself, there's a smaller, not huge, but like a smaller courtyard play area. And there you do see Erin just being a kid. And you see your brother. Seems that Kelvin has beat you here.
Wow.
That was one of the things on his to-do list.
I'm not surprised, honestly.
So
Trying to just
you just see Erin and Kelvin just being rough and tumble, boys pretty much.
gonna stand back and watch them smiling.
Should we go tell him that we're here, or should we just watch for a little bit?
I mean, he's your brother. That's up to you if you want to go say hi. But I am quite comfortable enjoying this scene and not interrupting it.
I kind of am too.
All right. You watch for a minute before he does finally take notice of you. And is this going to be just a remainder of your day, just spending time with Erin?
That was gonna be mine for this day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The four of you, if we include Erin, spend the day just having fun, helping him adjust to his new surroundings, checking in with old Emethel, and with her permission, you take Erin out to a nice lunch, kind of like a non, yeah. He's able to go with you, kind of walk around the city, and you guys just have a good day, really. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
For the rest of your day, Tamriel, you wanted to look over if there was privatized guards or not?
Just kind of keeping an eye on routes they took, how they, if it was a random, just kind of like, or if they had specific patrols they walked.
Give me a investigation check.
Sure. Oh, not so great. A 10?
I would say for here in the Horizon Ward, you don't notice a lot of kind of a patrolling force outside of the Queen's Shield. But as you do get closer to where the Sky Ward merges with the Horizon Ward and then becomes the Sky Ward, that's where you do notice a little bit more of a non-kingdom sanctioned guard force, mostly wearing kind of breastplates and half plates. They don't travel in large groups. The largest you find is about a 3 party walking around, and they take notice of you, but you don't stand out as a threat. You can see they just kind of take stock of you, give a nod, and then move on.
Okay.
You do notice on their, I would say with your passive perception be easy enough, you do notice that while they don't have any kind of like that shoulder cloth to signify rank, on their breastplates you do notice what looks to be kind of this cloud shape. Then underneath it, the symbol for the kingdom itself.
Gotcha.
But throughout the day, it begins to come a little closer to evening time. All of you reconvene at Reginald's Threads. You say probably first the door probably be Kelvin or Tam. So Kelvin kind of reaches up, grabs the handle. It's locked.
I probably walk up behind him as he's trying to just open the door. Maybe we should try knocking. As I kind of like lean past him and knock on the door.
A few minutes go by before you see Reginald come up. Kind of moves a little bit of a cloth that was on the window, closes it, opens the door. Oh, just in time.
It's definitely what we shoot for.
Takes his 2 spectacles off. Yeah, had a bit of an upset with some of the cloth, so I had to remend it a bit, but we got it fine. Everything is... You will be pleased, I believe.
Thank you.
And he goes and off of these like wooden hangers, he hands each of you your outfits.
I As I take my clothes, I'm going to look at him. You are a true master. We appreciate this very much.
Well, like I said, I had to get some help, but got it done. And anytime you need anything else, just come on back.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And he helps you all to the door, nods again. Have fun, and don't be intimidated by the Turins. They seem to be good people.
Thank you for your insight.
Of course. Have a good night. Closes the door.
You as well. Awesome. All right.
So, all of you head back to get changed, I presume?
Yes.
The whole way back, Snow is just holding this bag in front of her like, wait, this is mine now? Seriously? Wait, what? I own this?
Yes, you own this.
Oh my god, is your tail like flicking and twitching too?
Oh god, yeah.
Man.
So cute.
So you
Awesome.
get back. I will go over a quick rundown of your outfits before we move on to the dinner.
Alright.
Yeah.
For Kelvin, once he gets changed, gets cleaned up, changed, and comes into the hallway, he has a white on white
Oh god.
tunic and trousers with gold trim. The entire back has this huge sewn-in mural of the Dawnfather.
The what?
Palor, the Dawnfather.
Oh, okay.
God.
I was very confused for a second.
Yeah, sorry. For
Oh, he essentially has a giant jersey.
it's a
His
very
god.
nice tunic. Thank you. For Tamriel, what you notice about yours is that it had been where he had pinned and made notes as you slide this tunic on and kind of begin to get yourself wrestled. It's just a well-fitting, well-made tunic. It's nothing elaborate about the embroidery, which there is embroidery around the collar a bit and on the edges of the sleeves, but it's just extremely comfortable and it looks nice.
Awesome.
For Snow, what you notice as with your outfit is that it's looked a little baggy to begin with, but once you get changed over, it just feels natural. You don't feel restricted in your movements. You feel like you could still potentially scale a building. You feel fancy.
Don't tempt me.
You feel fancy and functional.
Heck yeah.
For Cathalia, you had gone with the green dress? Blue dress?
Blue one.
You've gone with the blue one. And it's kind of a higher collar, but like a noble. It's very... The embroidery around it is kind of that vine motif you had seen in the other ones. Because he did notice... You would imagine he noticed your elven ancestry. Mm-hmm. So it is tailored to such. The sleeves beginning a little snug around the biceps, but as it goes down, it opens up to a bit of a more open cuff. Nothing crazy open, but enough to allow for some freedom of the wrist.
Okay.
All of you assemble in the hallway and begin to make your way downstairs.
Well, we are a good-looking bunch.
Yes.
If a camera existed, we'd take a picture.
I poke at Kelvin on the way down.
Yes.
I sincerely hope you don't get that dirty. Because that looks too fine to spoil.
Oh, don't worry. There's always magic.
Very true.
As he waves his hand through the air and you see like a sparkle of color.
Yes, and when magic fails, good old soap and water.
Magic doesn't fail?
Live a couple thousand years and we'll see.
Couple thousand. You're not that old. And he heads down.
Sure thing.
All of you head downstairs. As you come to the first floor, you do see Roland standing there, waiting for all of you. Ah, good eve. There's a pause, and he looks over the party slowly. Well, this is unexpected. And he actually gives a bit of like a half bow, his right hand extending to the side. Good evening, lords and ladies of the wild cards. Tonight you have been invited to dine with the establishment's proprietors, Einwald and Suna, along with their son Nathan and daughter Malia. The Turin family welcomes you, and he guides you to a side room. What was that?
Can you give us spellings on everything but Nathan, please?
Sure. Einwald is Einwald. That's the father. The mother is Sunna. And then daughter is Malia.
Lia. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. He leads you to a side room behind a closed door, and upon opening it, you see a kind of you see a well-sized dinner table that has just been completely covered in a tablecloth, dishes, cups, cutlery, fine glasses, and enough seats to accommodate yourself and the family, who has already arrived. And as you step in, the entire family stands, and Einwald looks to you. Ah, he has like a glass of wine in his hand and points it towards you. Our guests of the evening, those who saved my son's life. And Nathan's like, Dad, what? They saved your life. Let me gloat a little bit. I may have been okay. You weren't going to be okay. Please come. Have a seat. Take of our wine. Enjoy our food. Tonight, we celebrate fate for your paths crossing to the sewers. And the rest of the family sits, then he sits.
We'll take our seats. Is it all like one long table?
It is double-sided.
Double-sided. How are they seated?
He is at the head. So to his left is his son, to his right is his wife, and then next to the wife is the daughter.
Gotcha. I will sit 2 seats down from Nathan, leaving a seat between Nathan and I.
Okay.
Snow would probably go as close as she could to Malia.
Okay. You take a seat right next to her. Knowing Kelvin, he'll take a seat at the other head of the table. That just seems like something he'd do.
Mm-hmm.
Cathalia will go just because she really likes upsetting her brother right now and sit in between Nathan and Tamriel.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
All of you have a seat. Over the next few hours, actually, a meal is had, fine drink is enjoyed, as well as some common conversation. He doesn't seem too interested or nosy to dig deep into each of your pasts, But he does speak a bit about his family, how they had come to the capital, began actually in the Earth Ward with their first tavern, successful, built another one after selling it and moving on, and you gather that he just seems to be in the business of creating a tavern and inn and succeeding at providing food, entertainment, drink. He's well put together, the father figure.
He's flipping buildings.
Essentially.
He's probably buying them inexpensively, renovating, making them successful, and then selling the brand.
After the bit of conversation you had over dinner, you can gather that much for sure. It seems like he's been here for a while, though. You feel like he's not quite peaked, but content. They talk about their son wanting to work with the Queen's shield. How he has a couple of travels actually being... Actually, let's see here. Yeah, it would have been out of the capital. Einwald speaks. Yeah, Nathan here decided it was best for the family that, though we've established ourselves here, to do service to our great kingdom. Actually, about a year ago, he was pulled into the King's Blades and sent northward near the border during the skirmishes between Bragos and Zotaris. Thankfully, nothing ever came towards our borders, but the king definitely wanted our force present in there. A couple of months of that, he came back and was able to safely join the streets of this city. Hopefully he will stay above them.
I'll kind of smirk and take a drink.
Well, if there's any conversation you wish to have, now is the time. If not, we can move forward to post-dinner.
No, Tam is kind of quiet. He's just kind of sitting back. He answered. I answer if anybody talks to me, but for the most part, I don't know. I just kind of watch interactions, just kind of study people.
Okay.
Kind of like I can appreciate what it is, but I don't know. Seeing a family close together.
Okay, I will say definitely over the course of the dinner at some point, the question would be posed from probably Nathan. After having enough of his father speaking, he would kind of turn to the party. Well, I can't say definitely don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm thankful for you being in those sewers, but what brings a group like you to the capital? Just looking for work? Adventure?
I kind of look down and then over at the boys and just kind of keep my mouth shut.
Kind of glance between them and realizing nobody else is speaking up. We are seeking justice.
Justice?
Justice.
See, at this point, Einwald kind of puts his drink down. For what?
A bit sensitive, but two of us have suffered a great loss, and we wish to right that wrong. And so we are seeking information to do so.
Well, and kind of noticing the tension in the air, Nathan manages to speak up before his father does. Well, if there's anything I can do, or I could perhaps convince some of the perhaps I have some questions I can have answered in some way, let me know.
We will do that quite happily. But for now, I think we will avail ourselves to anyone that needs help while we hunt down a few leads.
Einwald and Nathan kind of nod their heads. Einwald speaking up. Well, hopefully, what it may be, it's resolved soon.
Surely hope so.
With that, say dinner concludes, and you are left to your own devices after being escorted out of this, what seems to be like a private eating area. You're led back onto the main floor of the Gracious Pint, where the dinner hour seems to be wrapping up, but still lively. There's music being played. Seems kind of a not a ragtag group of performers. Definitely people who have practiced together, but there's the odd note here or there.
Is anybody dancing?
There actually has been a couple tables that you can see that have been moved aside to make like a middle dance floor, and there's a couple of people out there.
I'm gonna turn with a big Cheshire Cat grin on my face in front of Kelvin and ask Cathalia to dance.
You can just see Kelvin's eyes really
Glaze over with red.
Intensify on Tamriel before they look to his sister.
She pretends not to notice, and she agrees to dance with him.
Okay.
I lean over to Kelvin. Don't worry, my intentions are purely noble. Tap him on the shoulder and walk on.
So a night of fun revelry is had by most. Before we
Probably
close,
sitting in the corner being pouty.
make a perception check. All of you.
All of us. Oh boy.
Hey.
8.
Nice, Cathalia.
Great job, both of you.
I would say
Me,
Snow
not so much.
and Cathalia, you two notice as Kelvin has headed for the door and headed out. Tamriel, you are none the wiser.
Okay.
No, it's just kind of like in the back of her head. Should I follow him? Should I not follow him? Should I follow him? Should I not follow him? And she's just kind of look at the two of them with a little bit of longing and probably follow him out to make sure he doesn't do something stupid.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a minute. Snow, Tamriel, and Cathalia. Anything you guys want to accomplish before you head to bed for the night?
Yeah, once we're getting done dancing and we kind of split and go to our rooms for the night, I'm going to hang up my clothes and gonna drag a chair over to the window and just kind of watch until it's about the time for me to meditate
Okay.
and enter reverie.
Cathalia?
I will eventually find my brother and give him a hug and kiss him on the forehead.
He is not in the tavern, so if you want to go look for him, you will head out into the streets.
If I go out the door, is he like within eye shot?
No. At this point of time passing, you would not see Snow or Kelvin.
Is there like a garden area? Like a courtyard?
You did notice there was one as you moved a little closer to where, because where you're at now, you're on like an intersection to where it's very close to where the Sky Ward and Horizon Ward begin to overlap and then turn solely into their respective sides. You do remember that a little closer to the Sky Ward, where it began even nicer of an area, you did notice kind of like a fountain courtyard area.
I'll kind of shrug and then just go upstairs and clean up and put my nice new clothes up and wait for Snow to come back.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get my stuff dirty.
Okay. Snow, as you head outside to follow Kelvin, you see him begin to make his way towards the spiraling square. Are you going to follow him completely?
Yeah.
Are you going to follow him stealthily?
I would like to try.
Would you please roll me a stealth check?
Oh, wrong. Frickin' cheat again.
I will roll his perception.
Give me just a moment. It's so weird not having the Beyond 20 extension, because I have to keep going back to,
You can just roll off D&D Beyond and tell me the number.
Eesh.
It's okay. There's no way his modifiers are going to be enough to catch this.
Really?
Oh yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay.
I'm just double checking real quick. Yeah, no.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Yeah.
That's a really bad roll for me.
It was a very bad roll for his check to see you. So.
Alright.
You follow him as he moves into the spiraling square, exiting the Horizon Ward. From there, he goes to the Earth Ward, kind of hugging a bit to the west, before he eventually comes around and out of that to the other. And the wards, they're not perfectly shaped. They seem to kind of stretch and go where things have been built, torn down, rebuilt, so on and so forth. He makes his way actually back to the Immortal Meadery.
Okay.
And he goes inside.
Does it look like... Well, at this time of day, it would still be open, but it probably wouldn't be busy, correct?
Correct.
What's it look like inside in terms of, like... Is it bright? Is it starting to get darker inside?
Inside, there is that giant window that you can see through, so if you want to peer through that, you can give me a perception check.
I would love to. Give me just one moment. Okay. Perception. 18.
Very nice. Looking inside, you see it's decently lit by a couple of sconces. The density of patrons seems to have definitely dwindled. You see probably about 3 or 4 other people. One of them in a group with another, and then the other 2 off by themselves at different tables. You watch as Kelvin goes up to the bar and begins having a conversation with the dwarven fellow who usually oversees the later shift. There's a bit of conversation, and then you watch as the dwarven fellow leaves. A couple moments pass, and then he comes back and sets a bottle on the counter. Kelvin takes the bottle and begins to head towards the front door.
Okay.
Are you gonna duck down alleyway, or just gonna let him come out?
I'm just gonna let him come out.
Okay. He comes out, looks around, sees you. You make that eye contact, that like, oh shit, eye contact.
You know you could have just gotten a drink back at the tavern, right?
It's not for me?
Sure. Well, I just wanted to make sure you were alright, so... I will just simply be your shadow, if that is alright with you.
Well, I'm going back to the inn.
And you say that drink is not for you. Shall we?
All right. And he heads back to the inn. Doesn't seem to be deviating in his path.
Devious in his intentions.
Perhaps. Do I have any idea what that drink was that the dwarf gave to him, or is it like wrapped so I can't see it?
You recall the last time you saw a liquid in this bottle, it sent half of the party on its face.
Same. Okay. Okie dokie.
But he gets back. Eventually, Cathalia Snow returns. Probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour after you'd come up.
I'm like re-braiding my hair because I got nervous. Is everything okay?
Kind of just lean back, looking back into the hallway as I come back into the room, watching to see if Kelvin is going back into his.
He does.
I think he'll be alright. He brought back that what would you call it? That spicy ale that you all had before that basically knocked you off your feet?
Oh, I hope he's not going to be an alcoholic.
Well,
Like, put my hand to my temple.
I can't say I would blame him after the recent events, but if it comes to that, then we can certainly create an intervention if one is needed.
Yeah. I should apologize to him. We just think it's hilarious.
I don't blame you. It is hilarious, but I understand that he is protective of you and for good reasons, so
Yeah.
let's just hope that Tamriel is alive in the morning.
With
Yeah,
that,
we kind of need his expertise.
with that, Tamriel, you are watching out the window and you hear.
Not gonna turn around. Good evening, brother.
Actually, yeah, no. Evening.
Everything okay?
Yeah, just picking something up for somebody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He will.
Well, good night.
Good night. And he goes into his room.
I'm gonna smirk and shake my head when he shuts his door. And I'm gonna keep looking out the window, trying to see what I can see out my window.
All right, what you would see with your window, the way it faces, kind of yours faces into where the skyward begins. and you just at the edge of where your dark vision picks up, every once in a while you kind of notice you'll see a group you can point out as the queen's shield kind of go by, and then a few minutes later you'll see that kind of that private force that seems to only stay within the sky ward come a little bit into the horizon ward before taking a look around and then heading back on their way.
Okay.
Alright. And so closes our first day. And it is
awesome.
7:30ish, so we're going to take our quick 10-minute break, everybody. Thank you for hanging out so far. Look forward to continuing this shenanigans of a time with all of you. But yeah, just a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back, y'all.
Listen, Hawaiian is amazing, alright?
You're not
Thank
wrong.
you.
And welcome back, everybody. We're having a heated debate during our break about the completely non-heinous practices of having pineapple pizza. Joe, you're outvoted, and in this world, democracy rules.
That's fine. Democracy can rule, and you can all be wronged for it.
I'm sorry you don't have what we like to call finer tastes. I've had your cooking. It's not that great.
Oh,
Wow.
I like my
Oh,
childish
man.
pizza. Thank you very much.
Oh.
You enjoy your pizza.
I have been.
It is the worst thing to come out of Canada. Okay, Rot. All right. Fun break. Thank y'all for hanging out. But we're going to jump right back into it. So, the first day of a little bit of potential downtime, waiting for Shady to do her end of the deal. You all went out, got some fine clothing, and had a nice dinner with the Turin family, learning a bit about their trade and how they got where they were. And
Studying my brother, like always.
yes, absolutely. But the morning of the second day comes. What would you all like to accomplish?
Like, other than the obvious get up, get dressed, breakfast, all that.
Yeah, that all we can glaze over that. You're once again all woken up by a knock at the door from Roland, informing you breakfast will be ready shortly. This seems to be kind of a regular ordeal with those that are staying here. So all of you are up, dressed, cleaned, breakfast is had, and the day and its greatness is before all of you. So, wild cards. What would you like to do?
Name sounds so weird and so good at the same time.
I know.
I love it.
For sure.
Well, if nobody would like to go first,
What you
Go
got,
for
Miss
it.
Snow?
Snow is going to see if she can go find Nathan. If he's either in the tavern or already
I would say this time of day,
out.
you watch as he is coming out of that private eating area in his full Queen's Shield attire, longsword at his side, shield on his back, and he's beginning to make his way towards the front door.
Is he like groggy awake or alert
He's
awake?
pretty alert. He's pretty awake.
Okay. She is extremely shy, so this is going to be very awkward for her. She's gonna walk up to him and just kind of politely, like, interrupt his path, and say, excuse me, Nathan, right?
Yes.
I'm-
Snow?
Yeah. I'm really sorry to bother you. I had a question, and I think you're my best shot at an answer.
Sure.
Do you happen to know where there might be some other druidic magic users, either within or just outside the city?
He kind of scratched his chin for a bit. Well, not really, but if I had to think of anything, I know I don't get out there much, but I know in the farmlands just outside the walls, I think there was a couple out there just kind of assisting with I know in the neighboring towns about a day away, there's stronger presence of those kinds of practitioners because but the kingdom employs them to keep the tree growth going during the lumbering process. As far as around here, there might be one out in the farmlands to assist with crop growing, but I couldn't really be too knowledgeable of such things.
Do you happen to know which way out of the city that would be?
If you it encompasses mostly from the southern gate all the way to the eastern gate, and spreads out for a good little bit away from the walls. So any of those two gates, you'll run right into it.
Thank you very much. I have some research to do, if that's all.
Certainly. Glad I could be of help.
And she is going to give a nod to the party and start heading out.
Okay. Cathalia? What are you going to get started on today?
Thalia kind of, sort of wants to look at bows.
Okay.
Which is like fun and heartbreaking at the same time, because this one came from her parents. But she's been thinking about it for a while, since before the incident, so.
Okay. You know that you have passed a couple of stalls in the spiraling square. You also know that kind of closer to where the spiraling square and the earth ward meet, you did see a couple of carpenters who specialize in that kind of thing.
She will kind of wave at the guys and go that away.
So Kelvin waves back, and he'll look to Tamriel. I gotta go do a thing.
Okay.
And he just
Sam is alive after last night.
Awkwardly leaves.
Wait, does he have the bottle?
You don't know.
I have no idea. I am going to go find maybe a guard station or something.
Okay.
And I want to ask about any suspicious disappearances out of the Horizon or the Sky Ward. Anything that I specifically, anything that seems odd or weird, anything that I would be able to kind of piece together is not of this world. People disappear every day. I'm looking for non-natural disappearances. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. All right. Everybody goes to their tasks of the day. We'll start with Snow. The dice deems you.
Oh boy.
You were rolling for it.
What? I have a table of names in front of me. Whatever.
It's fine. Snow will expeditiously make her way. She'd probably just pick the southern gate if it's, open, available. Because that's just what she feels like.
Okay.
So that's what she's
what
going
you're comfortable with too, because that's where the party came in.
Mm-hmm.
So
and hopefully not attract too much attention on her way out. She's like trying to practice that fit in that Tam taught her about, but she's not sure how well she's doing.
Okay. Are you covered up, or are you going head uncovered?
She would probably keep her head uncovered unless she started getting some really weird stares her way.
Make a perception check.
Let me do this. Perception. Please don't fuck me. Nope. Fuck.
As
Natural 1.
Walking, you blend right in. No one's looking at you. Nothing crazy. You belong.
Wonderful. And she will make her way out to the fields that Nathan told her about, and she's going to start asking around to see if she can find this druid that he had mentioned might be out here, if there is one.
Okay. Once you leave the southern gates, the vast grasslands and forest that Thavia has to offer is just laid out before your vision. As far as you can see over the rolling hills and to the south, you're like, it just catches you, because you've seen Thavia and its expanse in a bit northern, but when it comes to the capital, you never really came this close. So now you're even a little south on that south exit. It's just amazing feats of greenery. And then slightly to your left, you do see what begins to be a little bit of like a wooden fence. Less a fence and more just a marker of land.
Mm-hmm.
To where you see just fields upon fields of crops and lands for beasts of burden to roam. There's
Nice.
workers out there with buckets of water just kind of spreading it around. Give me an investigation check.
Well, I did it on Beyond or D&D Beyond because again, I'm not used to roll
that's
20.
okay. What do
That
you
is
got?
a natural 20 plus 1.
Plus 1, 21 total. Okay, nice. Looking at through your druidic nature, just kind of walking the fence line, because there's no immediate entrance into the farmlands right here where you exit the gates. You actually have to walk about a quarter of an acre down before you get to what seems to be like a tilled road, a dirt road that cuts the fields.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're walking down, your paw kind of aimlessly reaches towards the crops, and as you brush past them, they are strong and not just via natural means. There is druidic influence within these lands.
Mm-hmm.
You would expect a land like this to yield strong crops, but this is hardy, to say the least. Stalks of corn, probably an extra 2-3 feet tall. Normal fields of wheat, also a little taller than what you would be normal. And you can know without a doubt there's a druid around here somewhere. And without too long of looking around, perusing through these what almost seems like near endless fields that sweep from the entire southern gate all the way up to the eastern gate and then spreading outward a good distance, eventually you do see someone kind of out in the middle of a field, freshly tilled, and you see them just sitting on their knees, their hands dug into the dirt down to the wrist almost, and they seem to be concentrating on something.
Mm-hmm. I will probably approach, get within 10 feet, and then just kind of lay down on the soil, trying to make sure I don't like hurt any of the crops that are around.
Okay.
And I would like to wait until they're done with whatever they're doing. I don't care how long that is.
Okay. An hour goes by. A second. A third. A fourth. All the way to about 7 hours passes in this field. No one seems to be approaching. You do see people walk by, but no one seems to come closer. They come by with like carts of cut down crops, some of them just pulling random beasts throughout. But after about 6-7 hours of this just silence surrounded by nature, you watch as the druid, this human male, kind of pulls his hands up from the dirt and takes this long breath. He kind of sits back on his knees, hands still covered in the dirt, and he just kind of rubs it around his hands, actually up his wrist and forearms, like actually spreading it over his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've certainly been there a while. So something I can do for you. And then he turns to look at you, and you see before you this kind of just older, weathered male, wrinkled skin, bald head, decently kept beard, but also dirty. Not like grungy, but like dirt.
Mm-hmm.
His clothing very simple. And he just kind of turns towards you.
If it's not too much of a bother, my name is Snow, Drifting Snowflake, and I'm kind of in a panic. I need your help, or somebody's help, specifically druidic nature. If you really aren't inconvenienced, could I borrow some of your time?
Well, the only thing on my agenda today was to assist this field with some little bit of a growth. So, you were patient to wait. I can repay the favor. And kind of stands up. Wherever you wish to go.
Anywhere's fine, really. If you would like to go back home, I could go with you there so that you'd be comfortable.
It's not too far.
Please, lead on, if that is all right.
Okay. And he actually kind of leads closer back to the walls of the city, and there you can see nestled like against the wall seems to be a bit of a community that's built against the wall. And he just walks over to kind of a smaller hut, very plain, so like a cloth door, and he pushes it aside, goes inside, and inside it's simple, small bedroll, a little like almost like a crate that's been turned upside down to hold clay dishware, and a small area for a very, very like a small clay like pot to hold a fire in. Well, Drifting Snowflake, my name is Asher. I've seen over these lands for nearly my entire life. How can this old druid be of use?
Well, I'm afraid I obviously don't know much about you, so I don't know what circle of druidity you ascribe to, but I am one of the few that are of the circle of wildfire. And unfortunately, due to some pressing circumstances, I never really got trained in my druidic abilities. I don't have any structure, I don't have any learning in how to control these, and recently this has led to a mishap that you could say has shaken my faith in my ability to use these magical powers that I have. And I need some training or guidance or something, some structure, so that I know that when it comes to it, I won't hurt people again. Unintentionally.
As he's taking your story in, you watch he takes a little bit of dry plant life and some thicker timber and puts it in this pot, and then lights it and puts like a teapot over it full of water. Well, I am mostly of the land. I see to the growths of the crops here that sustain the entire kingdom. So I don't know a lot about the circle of the wildfire, but if I had to garner a guess, I could see why it's necessary. Sometimes the only answer is to burn out any weeds or corruption and then start anew. And with that, I could see such a druidic nature might be hard to control. My best advice could be that don't try to control it. Guide it. Let your own druidic nature understand your will so that it can better manifest itself. You want something to grow, you concentrate on what it means to grow. Should you have to burn out the weeds but leave the plants alive, you focus on those that choke life and only take it and serve no purpose. Not sure how much help I can be, but I'm more than welcome to be here and do what I can. If you want to practice, we can certainly find some things to burn. And he kind of gives a little bit of a chuckle.
If you don't mind, I would like that very much. Just even to have a little training would be most helpful.
Absolutely. How about you come by tomorrow morning?
Sunrise? Later? Earlier?
A little after. I'm a little older now. I like to take my time.
Of course. Thank you for listening. I will definitely be here tomorrow.
I look forward to it. And with that,
And
he'll give you a cup of tea and you guys can discuss a bit. But once that's done,
Aww. She will turn and return to the city. That is what she wanted to do for the day.
okay. Next on the list, Tamriel.
Man. Okay.
So you wanted to seek out a nearby guard station, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you looking for of the Queen's Shield or the other faction?
Queen's Shield. The King's Blade seem more militaristic. I'm looking for people that keep an eye here.
Okay.
We've got, things to do while we're here, but if I can help the city in other ways while we wait, I would feel better. Idle hands and all that.
Of course. After watching, if you had for the last day and a half, it's not too hard to pin down where the nearest area is. It's about probably 15 minutes from where you are.
Mm-hmm.
A little closer to where kind of the triangular effect as the horizon spiraling and earthward kind of meet, which is a little closer to the wall, so it's a little further away from what you would call a nicer culture and a little closer to the seedy end.
Uh-huh.
But you find the building easy enough. It's has the symbol of the Queen's Shield right there. Front door is actually propped open. You see to the left of the door a kind of like a bulletin board area with just various leftover parchments where things have been ripped down and taken. Kind of like push pin darts left hanging. A handful of other parchments just sitting on there.
I'm going to look at the board for a moment to see if there's anything that I was looking for, like posted, before I go and talk to, like, I don't know, a sergeant or someone that seems to be in charge.
In regards to anybody missing, you don't see anything along that nature. You see things like goblins on the outskirts of the farmlands, and then just like some other, not everything on here is a job. Some things are just like postings, like watch out for pickpockets. This area here seems to be seeing more traffic. We're currently working on it. Strange travelers coming through the northern gate. Be on the lookout. Kind of things like that.
Is there anything that's describing us?
No.
Okay. Just being safe. Then I guess I shall go and find like a sergeant at arms or someone to that effect. Someone in charge that would have heard if there was something wrong.
Certainly. As you head inside, you do, and then almost like as you get to the door, you begin to hear this boisterous female voice that is giving out sounds like an ass chewing a bit. You're not sure what, but as it ends and you see two guards just promptly speed walk out before they hit the streets and just make a hard left and head into the direction of the Earth Ward.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of stick my head around and see who is actually in there.
Give me a perception check.
Doing the ass chewing, yes. Got 8.
8. You see a couple of figures in there, but just from the way it's bright outside and not as bright inside, it's difficult to discern details.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess as I walk in, I'm gonna kind of call out, "Hi, I'm looking for someone in charge."
This point, you do see what looks to be a female and a human male. Just checking my notes here, make sure I got all this right. And also
the human female and human male,
and another male, human in nature.
Human in nature.
They all seem human.
No, even slight sharpening of ears or anything like that.
I will say once you get inside, you do notice that the female has this kind of bobtail cut, blonde hair with green streaks, and you actually do notice a bit of a tail, like a tiefling style tail.
Huh. Okay. Hello.
They all kind of turn to you, and then the female looks to one of the males. "I'm going to go handle the rest of this mess. Deal with whoever this is." And she walks off back deeper into the building. Before one of the males turns to you, he's got kind of a reddish hair. He's wearing what looks to be mostly leathers with a hand crossbow kind of slung to his side, then a short sword and a shield. Morning, can I help you?
Yeah. My friends and I are in town on a little bit of business, and I was wondering, as we are hunters of a sort, or at least I am, if you had any mysterious disappearances, anyone turning up missing, or anybody turning up dead that may have been, I don't know, by claw, by fang, or anything of that sort. I kind of make money by trade hunting monsters.
Oh.
And while we're here handling some other business, I was wondering if you needed any help.
Well, there was a job about 2-3 days ago, but seems to be cleaned up.
What was that job, if you don't mind me asking?
Just, I don't know, some kind of sewer work or something.
Oh, yes, we took care of that.
Oh, that was you.
That was my team and I, yes.
Oh, well, nice work.
Thanks.
Outside of that, can't really think of anything off the top of my head as far as Fang and Claw. How are you with catching thieves?
Huh. Depends. Would this help clean up this mess your friend was talking about?
That? Yeah, certainly it would. There's been a couple of high-profile, almost assassin-style murders the last roughly week.
independent contractors or one of your local guilds? Do you have any leads, any ideas?
Well, a couple of contacts say it might be one of the guilds. We've got a few names on hand, but unless you're willing to work with the job, I don't want to disclose too much to you.
I wouldn't want to take on work that I don't want to speak for my friends, but I can certainly speak to them this evening and maybe check back with you tomorrow. Would be happy to come back. And I step forward. My name's Tamriel.
He steps forward as well to meet you, shakes your hand. Arthur Cook. And the other gentleman kind of looks to you, gives a nod. Rory.
Is Rory outfitted the same as Arthur?
Yes, they are both outfitted relatively the same.
Short sword leathers, all that fun stuff. Got it. Alright, yes, I will be happy to talk to my teammates, and we will have an answer for you by tomorrow.
That'd be nice.
Assassination-style murders. Central local. Thank you for the update. I appreciate the help.
Absolutely. You have a good day.
And I will step back out, kind of shield my eyes as I do so.
Give me a perception check as you leave.
Okay. 22.
Get it.
22. As you are leaving, you do catch a bit of a conversation.
Okay.
It says, we really need to find whoever it is from the Black Vines that's doing this. Do you really think he could be the main suspect? Yeah, not usually his thing, but if he's trying to rise in ranks rapidly, he's certainly doing the right things.
Alright. I'll say before I step away too far, I'll kind of step to the side out of the way of traffic, kind of give one last glance around to see if anybody's kind of paying attention as I pull out my journal and kind of scratch in a few notes and a few letters. Definitely write down, last week, assassination, murders, local, Black Vine, underline Black Vine. And then write down
underline, circle.
Taine with 2 question marks. Quotation marks, rising through ranks.
Anything else? For the rest of your day?
I'm gonna head back to. Actually, I'm going to, because I didn't know where everybody else went. I'm going to take a circuitous route and not knock on the door, but kind of watch by old Emethel and kind of check up on Ian myself.
Okay. You actually met by old Emethel herself, and she kind of looks you over and says, "Oh, just you today?"
Today?
Well, yeah. Yesterday, your other companions came by.
Huh. Yeah, we all had our own tasks and our own parts to play yesterday. So, I was just stopping by to see how Ian was doing, and was gonna head on my way.
He's just in lesson right now.
Good. Good. Education, knowledge is power.
Well, how do you expect me to keep these kids off the streets?
I appreciate all you do.
Absolutely. Did you want to see him, or?
No. Just checking up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
You too.
And she will close the door.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna head back.
Okay. Anything for the rest of your day?
No, not today.
Okay. Cathalia,
Yes.
what would you like to do with your day?
Well, she's gonna go look at Bo. She hasn't quite decided if she's gonna replace hers yet or not.
Okay, give me an investigation check as you begin to peruse through the spiraling square.
I have 10.
10. You spend a good bit of time in the square, not really realizing its sheer immensity and density of just various kinds of shops. I mean, from actual blacksmiths or people who just sell worked metal, people who sell leathers, food, herbalists, various trinkets. I mean, just about anything you would need in a capital city. You get the feeling that if you had to find it, it would be in the spiraling square. Some time does pass before you find a bow maker here or there, but nothing that really like, oh yeah, this person really knows how to make a good weapon. They just seem to be nothing that could be easily outdone by what you currently have.
Mm.
Probably about shortly after lunch, as you're just kind of chewing on a bit of market food, you come across what looks to be a merchant's cart that has the side opened up, and there are just all manner of bows, crossbows, heavy hand, some smaller short bows, long bows. Some of them seem to be actually like stained with darker colors, designs
Ew.
carved into them.
I think I'll go up and take a look.
Okay. As you get closer, where'd you go? I know you're here. There you are. Oh yeah. You kind of hear this kind of a gruff, gravelly voice. Ah, you've got a good eye, I see. And as you look, coming around the side of the cart is this short for their race, but average height to you, white-scaled dragonborn.
Ooh.
It's got these beady red eyes and long snout and just looks you over. What were you looking for today?
Well, I've had
semi-walk / waddles his way over. Just go.
Well, I've had this one bow for a few years now. I didn't bring it with, but I'm thinking about replacing it. I'm just not completely sold on replacing it until I know I've found something new that's better.
Tricky thing, replacing something you use every day. You never know if it's gonna break. Was it worth the money you put into it? Then there's the value of what you did have. What do you normally use? A shorter kind of a bow, a longer bow, a crossbow?
Longbow.
Longbow. Okay. Give me just a general charisma check.
Oh God, here we go. That's not bad. I like that one.
Not bad at all. He kind of looks you over. Longbow. And he takes his clawed hand and reaches up to the wooden panel that's kind of like propped up. And he moves the rod aside and lowers it. Other side of the wagon. And he leads you around. And this one is locked, like a heavy padlock. He takes a set of keys on his belt and kind of, no. No. No, wait. No. Yeah, there we go. Conk. Shkonk. Puts holds it, like, kind of hangs it by the lock piece to his belt, and then lifts up this side and uses a piece of wood to prop it open. And here you see displayed before you about 3 different longbows. Each of them just immaculately made, incredible quality. The one on the left seems to be made from a piece of wood that's been carved to be a little more flat to maintain that flexibility. And then there are, it's been painted, stained, really be a better word, to be a bit of like this bluish color. And then the string itself is very fine, but you can actually see at the tips where the string is hooked, it actually is 2 hooks that hook onto the bow, onto these golden colored like rings. The middle bow seems to be made from this deep redwood, and it is more round in like shape, a little more common of a longbow. But where the handle grip is, there's this piece of metal that's been affixed to it that reaches forward about 3 inches, and it has like a ring on it, you'd imagine to assist with aiming or something like that. And then the far right one looks like it's made entirely of ivory, just one solid piece that's been carved down.
Wow.
Now these three I acquired through some rough negotiations, one would say. But I like your presence. I can see there's something on your shoulders. So, what do you think?
Just kind of looks at each one and stares at each one for a while. Could I hold one and see how it feels?
Certainly. Which one would you like to try?
I'll go for the blue one, the first one.
Okay. He reaches up and kind of moves 2 like pieces of wood that holds it in, like almost like a hinge with like a little bit of a claw mark, and just opens them up, takes the bow off, and hands it to you.
I take it and I kind of, turn it in my hands and hold it up and pretend I have an arrow, and I pull it back, or try to. Does it pull pretty well, or is it too tough?
It's a little tougher, but as you pull, you notice ever so slightly this faint cackle of lightning rides down the string.
Does it hurt? Like, do I feel it or do I see it?
You feel it, but it doesn't hurt. You just feel it kind of dance around your fingers before going to the edges of where the string meets the golden hinges.
Neat. I hand it back.
He places
And
it
I
back
ask
on
you
you.
if I can hold the second one.
Certainly. He pulls it down, hands it to you.
I do basically the exact same thing. Kind of look at it and then test the pull and everything.
Where do you look when you test the pull?
I think I look as if I'm aiming at something. Like I look like straight ahead. That way it's like I'm kind of focused on the action itself and how everything feels. I don't watch how the bow is.
Okay. As you kind of look down where you would aim and you pull the string back, you almost feel like this tunnel vision comes over you. And then as you're looking down your aim way, it actually seems to zoom in for just a
That's
second.
snazzy. I kind of like stop and like sort of put the bow down and a little confused, and I'll look back up at him.
He kind of goes, that there is something that helps with your ability to hit a target.
I pull it up and I pull again. Does it happen again?
Happens again.
Oh, that's cool.
Makes it a little easier to land your shots.
And I hand it back to him.
And he puts it back on the wall.
And I ask if I can hold the ivory one.
Certainly. And he takes it down. Same manner. There's like a wooden claw that seems like hold it up there. He just kind of pulls the hinge back on it and hands it to you.
How does this one feel? Because I know ivory is probably heavier than wood.
It's heftier, but it doesn't feel encumbering. Like you could still... You couldn't hold it all day, but you could definitely hold it long enough to fire a good couple of arrows before taking a short, stretch of the muscles.
Okay. I hold it up and I pull the string back.
As you pull the string back, you feel like your eyes are playing tricks on you because you feel like there's a very slight after image of your fingers pulling the string back.
Okay, can you clarify? Because that's not clicking in my brain.
It would be almost like as you're pulling the string back, it looks like there's a 1 second lag, like an after image of your actual fingers pulling the string back.
Oh, okay. I kind of ease ease it back, and I'm just gonna stare at it for a second.
Strange magnets on that one. The gentleman that sold it to me said that for every 1 arrow it fires, 2 come out.
I really like all of them, but I obviously can't have all of them.
Well, if you've got enough coin, you can.
I highly doubt I have enough coin for all 3 of these very individual and amazing bows. I hand him back the ivory one. Let me think on it.
Okay.
And then I will come back probably tomorrow.
Well, I'll be here. Only in town for a few more days, though, then I'm moving on.
I understand. How much for each of these? That way I know how much to bring.
He kind of rubs his scaly chin for a bit, looking it over. Say probably about 3,000 gold per.
Oh. Well, I definitely don't have that much. but I thank you for letting me get to sort of test them.
Absolutely. Should you come into a sudden surge of financial stability, come find me.
I will do that. What was your name?
My name? Well, in your tongue, to keep it easy, you may call me Jude.
I'm Cathalia, and I hold my hand out to shake his.
And his scaly white dragonborn hand just envelops yours, but gently shakes your hand. Well met, Cathalia. And he kind of closes it down, relocks it, goes to the other side, opens it back up for business.
Give him a little wave, and then I think I'll head back and see Aaron some more. Or see if he's not busy with anything else that he might have to do.
I say with time it took you to look around the square, you'd be probably about an hour or two after Tam, so he'd probably be free if you want to spend a day with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Nice.
I'll bring him some chocolate, or we'll go get some chocolate or something.
All right. Kelvin actually spends his day. He will head to the Wobbly Mugs,
Snap.
Oh.
where he will present the bottle to Shady as way of an apology for name dropping last time.
Fair enough.
Look who's walking hat in hand.
Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, it works.
How well does it work?
She accepts it. Tells that she is still working on her end of the deal, and she'll be in contact. He'll then spend the rest of his day heading to Pirathin's Medicines and spend the day there just helping people out at the clinic.
Aww.
Reconvening at dinner time.
I'd say.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Party convenes at dinner time. Any conversation to be had, or are you ready to just move to the next morning?
No. I'm gonna kind of ask everybody how their day went.
Kelvin says he went to the clinic and helped out a lot of people.
Excellent. Ladies?
I talk about my bows, or the bows, not my bows. And
Talk about your bow, bro.
yeah, my bow, bro.
Something that we can certainly look towards if we get this party fund going any better.
Yeah, I don't think we can afford 3,000 gold.
Not right now,
yet.
but soon,
We'll get there.
perhaps.
I felt really connected, I think, to the ivory one. I don't know. Or maybe the lightning. I don't remember. There's one of them I really liked.
I'll make sure to have full stats and price ready to go by next session. So you can look them over properly.
Oh, yeah, I wrote down kind of generalized, but I'll listen to the stream again later and rewrite it.
Okay.
Well, I talked to the guards, and apparently, if you listen, when they don't think you're paying attention, they tend to talk about things they don't want to talk about. Like, apparently the Black Vine, or someone within the Black Vine, has been assassinating people in the city. And they are quite stressed to get it cleaned up.
Oh.
And I somewhat talked to them about offering our services. But I told them I didn't want to commit to anything without talking to the rest of you. This could serve one of two purposes, or could help us in one of two ways. One, we help the guards and we help clean up the city a little bit. move them in the right direction, or at least help bring it back closer to balance. 2, it could really piss off the Underguard if they were wrong about who's doing the killings. I don't think they're wrong, and it might even help the Underguard out a little bit, which might mean that we get kudos from our wobbly friend, but it doesn't make it doesn't ally us to anybody. We would have to beat feet once we finished up our business in town. I think it's worth looking into and seeing if we could do it personally. It might give us a more upstanding way of figuring things out. But at the very least, I don't think Shady would openly oppose us removing competition from the board. What do you guys think?
The only thing I truly care about right now with all of that is taking care of somebody.
Finding him. But if he is truly a Blackvine, it may even be him doing the deed.
I mean, it sounds like something he would do just based on what we have found out about him.
They were talking about someone trying to rise through the ranks. If he's not very high in the ranks yet, that means he's got work he's putting in. Whoever's doing this is killing good people, whether they deserve it or not. I understand defending yourself. I understand destroying what you are diametrically opposed to, but killing people to further your own selfish pursuits and desires is not something I agree with. But again, I didn't want to speak on all of your behalf and agree to something without giving you all some time to think about it. I told them I would talk to them tomorrow, so if we would like to mull over it this evening before we make a decision, we can absolutely do that.
I see no issue with it, although I will say I hope they don't expect us to be starting right away when you return with your answer. I have already lent out my services to the people in the field, helping them.
I'll make sure I understand what they're looking for, and if there's anything to be done, it won't happen tomorrow. But I wouldn't make too many plans for the day after.
Much appreciated.
Of course.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. You've had your conversation. You've had your evening meal. Who's keeping up with daily costs?
I thought everything was covered at the inn.
Correct.
I think
I thought room and board were taken care of for right now, as long as we weren't planning on moving in.
That was what Einwald had said the last time.
That's right.
Yeah.
At least for a few days, is what he said.
Yeah. You are good.
Yeah, once we start keeping track, it'll probably come out of the party funds, but until then...
Correct. Yeah, I'm not going to have it pull out of any of our individuals. That makes no sense.
At least not anymore. Now that we've established a party fund.
All right. Conversations are had. Dinner is delicious as usual. And everybody beds down for the evening.
Yarp.
Yes.
I think that would be a perfect place to close out this week's session. This way we don't jump into anything without having our Kelvin here.
Whole party. Yes.
All right. Everyone, just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Hopefully you enjoy the shenanigans that my table gets into. I know I certainly did.
So much fun.
Yeah, nice. Just a quick last-minute reminder. After this stream, we are still pushing for that 100-follower limit. Or not limit, but 100-follower goal. when we reach
Milestone.
that, we will be doing a follower-only raffle. And whoever wins will be sent a hardback copy of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Player's Handbook Guide, signed by the entire cast of us here at Bar20, just as our way of saying thank you for being here, enjoying it, and sharing it with your friends and family. So if you are enjoying this, please let your friends know. Even if they don't only have slight interest in Dungeons & Dragons, this channel will be growing to provide more things like how to play, things to understand, lingo, other like social and even biological aspects of this game. There's a lot to it, but we're all going to be here.
And that's just the first run of classes.
Yeah, that's just the first run of classes. We're going to make sure that
we have big plans.
Big plans, small steps. We don't want anybody to feel lost or confused in this game that we love so much. And please just be safe, have a fantastic week, and we will see you next Wednesday.